Ever wonder why everything you type on your phone or computer stays perfectly correct? Or why your photos and audio recordings never get messed up while they are stored on your device? We know that everything on our devices is saved in the form of bits, long combinations of zeros and ones. Sometimes, due to electrical noise, cosmic rays, or tiny defects, a single bit may flip. A 1 becomes a 0, or a 0 becomes a 1. And even a single flipped bit out of millions can corrupt your file, and your carefully saved password or document may turn into gibberish. But it never happens. So how exactly do our devices prevent this catastrophe, letting us always see what we saved? The answer lies in a self-correcting method embedded in RAM and hard drives called the Hamming code. It's a technique developed by the genius mathematician Richard Hamming in 1950 when he was working at the legendary Bell Labs. A technique so powerful that it's still used today in SSDs, RAM, and Wi-Fi, to name a few. This is the story of the genius who made our modern devices possible. Let's dive deeper and discover what else he did to shape the world we see. Richard Hamming, born on February 11, 1915, in Chicago, Illinois. He earned his bachelor's degree in mathematics from the University of Chicago in 1937, a master's from the University of Nebraska in 1939, and finally a PhD in mathematics from the University of Illinois in 1942. But just as his academic journey ended, World War II began, and the world needed minds like his. He joined the Manhattan Project at Los Alamos as a computer scientist, working alongside legends like Richard Feynman. Though he later regretted helping build the atomic bomb, it sparked in him a lifelong mission: to use science to help mankind, not destroy it. After the war, he joined Bell Telephone Laboratories, the birthplace of countless 20th century innovations. There, surrounded by brilliance, he made his most famous breakthrough, the Hamming code. In simple terms, it's a way to detect and fix errors in data, or bits to be precise. Whether it's a text message, a file download, or an image from Mars, if it's transmitted digitally, Hamming's code might be helping it arrive safely. Hamming introduced the idea of parity bits, extra bits added alongside your original data bits to keep an eye on them. These parity bits literally act like guards or cameras for the original data. They pinpoint exactly which bit has been altered, whether a 0 flips to a 1 or a 1 flips to a 0. Now you flip these bits back and you get your data in original shape. With the help of Hamming code, RAMs and SSDs become self-correcting components, always keeping your data intact. The Hamming window. While working at Bell Labs, he also devised his famous signal processing technique called the Hamming window. This technique is still widely used today in audio analysis, music processing, and digital signal processing. When analyzing a signal, like a snippet of audio, using methods such as the Fourier transform, simply chopping a signal into pieces can introduce distortions or artifacts at the edges. The Hamming window is a mathematical function that smooths the edges of each segment, reducing these distortions. In simple terms, imagine taking a short piece of a song and gently fading the start and end so it blends cleanly into the analysis. That's exactly what the Hamming window does digitally. Automatic programming. Richard Hamming worked on making programming easier and more reliable. Back then, computers had to be fed long streams of ones and zeros, which was tedious and prone to errors. Hamming helped develop automatic programming systems, early tools that could translate human instructions into machine code. In simple terms, it's like telling a computer what you want in plain language, and the system figures out the messy code behind the scenes. His work directly influenced the development of Fortran, one of the first high-level programming languages, which made it far easier for scientists and engineers to write programs. In 1962, Richard Hamming published his book, Numerical Methods for Scientists and Engineers, a classic guide on reliable computation. The book taught scientists and engineers how to solve equations accurately, prevent errors, and make the most of early computers. It became a must-read for anyone using computers for complex calculations, shaping generations of researchers and making digital computing more dependable. For his extraordinary work, Richard Hamming was showered with honors. He received the Turing Award in 1968, often considered the Nobel Prize of Computing, the IEEE Emanuel R. Peer Award in 1979, and the IEEE Medal of Honor in 1988 for his foundational contributions to information and coding theory. But to Hamming, these weren't just awards. They were reminders of responsibility. He wasn't just a nerdy scientist. He was a teacher of thinkers. In his legendary course at the Naval Postgraduate School, he asked life-changing questions. Why do so few scientists make a lasting impact? What causes failure in brilliant people? Are you working on the most important problem in your field? He famously said, "If you don't work on important problems, it's unlikely you'll do important work." That quote, framed on walls, repeated in lectures, and carried in journals, has become a rallying cry for serious minds. And of course, his book, The Art of Doing Science and Engineering, remains a must-read for any ambitious thinker. Hamming's mindset continues to shape startups, universities, and tech giants around the world. Richard Hamming passed away on January 7, 1998, but his voice, vision, and values are more alive than ever.
Richard Hamming didn't just give us codes and equations, he gave us a mindset, the courage to ask bigger questions, the wisdom to choose our battles, and the belief that our work can outlive us. What's your biggest problem worth solving? Share it in the comments below. Maybe your answer will inspire someone else's breakthrough. This is Awards, where we celebrate the people whose ideas change the world. Don't just watch history, be inspired by it.
Thanks for being with Awards. Subscribe to know more about international award winners and unsung heroes behind peace, science, and humanity.